Well, hey everyone, and welcome to the launch of Algebra at Your Pace. This is your girl, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring, and you guys asked for it, and I finally put it together and put it out there. So what we normally do is I do a couple math problems, you guys answer it, you put your answers down, which is great. But then you always keep asking, Audrey, do you have a workbook? Do you have a workbook? Do you have a workbook? Or do you tutor? So when I do answer those questions, all of a sudden they figure, oh, wait, tutoring costs money? Yes, it does. And yes, I am quite expensive. So I'm just coming on for right now, just for a few minutes, just to kind of introduce you to the Algebra at Your Pace. Right now, I don't have the book, but because the book is in production and it should be in my possession on Monday. But I was like, why should you wait? Because some people did ask for digital copies. So here we are. So what I have is right now is a 5-volume series, which takes you step by step through the whole thing of algebra. So anything that you need assistance with GED, with ASVAB, with ACCUPLACER, TEAS test, HESI test, anything that has to deal with algebra, the Algebra at Your Pace is going to cover it. The reason why I named it Algebra at Your Pace is because a lot of us, when it came to learning algebra, you felt rushed. You know, all of a sudden they're going from one concept and then you thought that, okay, tomorrow we're going to go over it again. And next thing you know, it's something new. So now you can basically learn it at your pace. So a couple of things. The first volume deals with integers, decimals, and exponents. The second volume, that deals with your functions, okay, your linear functions. Is it a relation or is it a function? The factors, the divisibility factors, ratios, and order of operation. So really digging deep with those. As well as for volume 3, we look at solving equations. So we're starting with 1-step, 2-step, multi-step, steps with distribution, steps when you have variables on both sides of the equal sign, steps when you have like variables, multiple variables on both sides of the equal sign, but then trying to do your solving. Any kind of solving of a linear equation, it's in this volume as well. So then if I go to, well, thank you. Thank you. I totally appreciate it. Blessed RN. So if anything, for those that are looking at more deeper with the linear equations, the x's and the y's. So we're looking at slope. We're looking at y-intercept. We're looking at the equation of the line, point slope. Okay, so we're really digging deep with the graphing. All of that is all wrapped up in one. Hello, Caribbean Queen. I got you. And then the last one is a combination. So is volume 5 and volume 6. So we're dealing with the inequalities. We're dealing with system of equations as well as system of inequalities. And then also the absolute values. So we're really breaking down all the essentials. So like if you're a person that took your GED and you didn't pass it, they always give you like a list of problems or areas that you need to do. So I do have an example of one somewhere in all this thing called chaos. Yeah, you should see this desk right now. This is what happens when you're trying to launch all kinds of books and stuff. So let me unzoom just a moment so you don't have to see this person's name. But if anything, at the end, as soon as you take your GED, they always give you like this page. So it gives you like, what are the things that you have to study? So this particular person had like a good 3 or 4 pages, right? But a lot of us always just get so caught up by not passing the test. But here's the thing, all of this stuff is actually going to be incorporated. They give you this to kind of help you out so you can get over that hump. So they tell you right here. For this person, had to do add, subtract, multiply, and divide factor polynomials. That is going to be involved into the next set because I didn't want to give you all of it at once because that's too much. That's too much. But that is actually going to be part of algebra at your pace. Then computing and solving problems with whole numbers, fractions, and decimals. That is basically your volume 3. That's solving your one-step, two-step, multi-step equations. Okay. Construct and explain data from bar graphs, circle graphs, dot plots. Okay, a lot of this is also going to be in there. That's going to be in volume 14, which I'm going to release in about a couple of weeks. So then we have the creating algebraic expressions, representing word problems. So if you're thinking like going from words to symbols, that's what we were kind of doing when we're going from verbal to algebraic. How to break down those word problems. That's in all of the volumes because I know you guys all struggle with the word problems. So you're going to need some kind of assistance. So this is just to give you an idea. All of these things, I'm not going to try to push them out. Okay, I can use this page. I was like, sometimes you don't want to put people's business out there, but you're just like, yep, that looks just like mine, Audrey, so don't even worry about it. Okay, so it has all of these factors, all of these things, the mean, the median, the probability, looking at geometry, slope of a graph. I know a lot of us, every time they see those slopes, I keep telling you over and over, these are those 4-point questions. So you see all of these helpful things, and that's exactly what Algebra at Your Pace does. So let me kind of walk you through one of the sections so you won't be like, okay, Audrey, you're doing too much. Okay. In this live, here we go. All right. Hola, everybody. Welcome, welcome. All right. So when you get your book, because you're going to, trust me. So when you get your book, there's always like a blank page. Of course, you have the copyright page and all that. And then eventually when you get to the nitty of the gritty, you're going to come across, and all of the books are kind of structured exactly the same way. So if we take a look, we're going to look at section like 1.7 with positive and negative decimals. So it gives you the learning target, what you're supposed to be achieving. It gives you some helpful hints how to remember. But this is what makes my workbook so much different from everybody else's. They will give you like a whole bunch of problems, but I'm giving you a section for you to write some notes down. Because if you want to, if you want to scan that, go ahead, have fun. If you scan this, it will take you directly to me, instructing you step by step how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, positive and negative decimals. And you just sit there, instead of you taking a piece of paper, which all of a sudden you like, oh, where did that paper go? And you're just using it as scrap. Now everything is all in one book. Hey, Janice, how are you? Okay, everything is all inside one book. So now you're sitting here, you're going to take your notes. Obviously, this is going to be bigger. I just made it small just so you can see, because right now I have to use my phone. So one side, you're going to have some notes. The other side of the page, you're going to have a practice section. So with this practice section, now I give you practice problems to do. So it gives you a space to do those practice problems in. You can do it like step by step. So now, after you do all your practice problems, there's going to be a section that I'm going to be like, I do, you do, we do type thing. But then now you can actually pause the recording. Remember, all of this is coming from this scan. So if you scan that, it'll just go straight to your phone and it'll just immediately start playing. You don't have to wait. So now you can pause it to do some of the work to see if you got it. And then you can push play again to use that as an answer key. So now as you're going through all that step by step, now you're given an extra practice page. So now you're going to actually see if you can do all this stuff step by step. So now if we take a look, let me zoom in. You notice that we have what I like to call naked math, okay? So we have like some examples that we're adding. We have an example that we're subtracting, okay? We're looking at multiplying, we're looking at dividing, okay? And I'm showing the division not in one way, but I'm showing it in both ways because sometimes the GED shows it in both ways, not just in the fraction form. But at the same time, at the very bottom, you get some challenge questions, okay? Similar to what you will see in the GED, in the ASVAB, in the ACCUPLACER, or the TEAS test, okay? So it kind of like mirrors what you're going to see. Yeah, I did get fancy. It took a lot of time. Trust me, this did not just come overnight. Many sleepless nights, staying up till like 7 o'clock in the morning, making sure I get these problems together, making sure everything works. Yes, good afternoon to you. All right. So now, after you have all these, okay, and we can go through a couple of problems, which we should, because not only you have an answer key, the answer key is not going to be in the back of the book. Like everyone does the back of the book. So now you got to flip. Oh, answer key on page 468. You're on page 2. So now you got to go all the way back to 468 to do all that. No, boo-boo. It's on the backhand side. You just flip the page and boom, there's your answer key right there. Okay? So now, when you do each and every problem, don't do this thing. Let me see if I can do it right here. And then kind of sneak a peek around and like, I think the answer's for, stop it. Okay? So trust in yourself that you can do those extra practice problems. And then when you're done, flip to the other side. Now, if this is an area that you're just like, all right, cool, this is great, I like this, but Audrey, like, I really want the slope one, the one, like, I need that. That's the best thing about this. Each volume is its own book. So when I have all these volumes, say you want to do anything with the slope, okay, or that will be your volume 4. So you just order the volume 4 book. Each book is exactly the same, regardless of how many pages it's in. So in addition to all the problems, I put those resources. Remember the resources, like some of you guys may know. I also do math notebooks. And in the very back of the math notebook gives you a whole bunch of resources with slope, equation of line, what are the most popular words used, and what operation does it represent? Is it adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing? Each volume will have its own series that's associated with its volume. So say that you have, let's say volume 4, anything that deals with linear equations. Anything with linear equations, slope, equation of the line, point slope, standard form, you're going to get the resource for that. And that is going to be in the back of the book. So now you don't have to buy a separate book. It's in there already. So you're going to have the support that you're going to need, not only through the video recording, but you're going to have me breaking stuff down. Now, the one thing that is an extra cost, when we do the extra practice problems, if you want me to break down each and every one of these problems, I have a separate recording, and you'll see there's like a QR code at the very back of the book that you can scan that and get the recording of every practice problem. Yes, I said that. Every extra practice problem, as well as, listen to this, a summative assessment at the end of each and every volume. So when I say that, I'm saying volume 1 has their summative assessment. Volume 2 has their summative assessment. Volume 3, their summative assessment. And you can get me breaking down the answers, because when you look at most workbooks, the first thing that they do is they always take the answer and they just say it's B. And then they put some kind of explanation, which is cute, But a lot of you guys haven't seen this explanation in a while, so you have no idea what is the explanation talking about. And then you're just like, oh, okay, I guess the answer is B. And then you teach yourself to memorize the answer key instead of learning to understand how you got that answer. And this is why a lot of people, when I say, oh, you're only a few points away from passing, say the GED, or raising your score so you can get that 31 and above for the ASVAB, is because when you looked at ASVAB for Dummies, when you looked at free stuff online, you just memorized the answer key. Guess what, boo? You're not going to get the same problem on the actual test that you're going to take. So you're going to have to learn a little bit of how, and also learn a little bit of how can I connect this? How can I do the process of elimination? Just enough for you to pass, okay? Just enough for you to excel. All right? So that's basically what's happening here. All right? So I have additional resources that goes with this. So one of the additional resources, and I actually put this inside as a special gift for volume 1. Simplifying exponents. I know we all struggle with it. You know how I know? Because I learned off from you guys from the lives. All these lives are helping me basically collect information to really figure out, all right, where are the areas that people really do need assistance with? So usually it's the basics, okay? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing integers. So what did I do? I did a book on it. So now for this one is the simplifying exponents. So again, when you open your book with simplifying exponents, inside you get an instruction, but then you get a whole bunch of flashcards, okay? And I keep saying this over and over again. Flashcards, you can do it digitally. A lot of people like to do it electronically, which is great, but how often are you actually going to that app? Whereas when you have a physical flashcard, it is forcing you to pick it up and for you to go through it. Now with this particular, this is like basically the whole page. I couldn't make this smaller. So this is basically the whole page. I just did a couple of pages just so you can get an idea. But what I want you to do is you can either make a copy of it. It could be in black and white. That's fine. I do a little bit of color, just a little splash, just to get them interested. But once you get this done, what I want for this particular book, for the exponents, I want you to fold it along this crease. And then what you will do is you're going to cut along here, because each of these is a card. This side is going to, the right-hand side is going to be the problem, and the backhand side is going to be your answer. So I know, because I was thinking about this, like, Audrey, why didn't you just print it on the backhand side and just cut it? Because I don't know who's printing the books. And sometimes you get somebody with a wild hair and say, oh, I think the answer should be here. And it's not your vision at all. And then you have to curse out someone's child of God. And, you know, we don't want to do that. Sometimes I do. But, you know, we try to test as much as we can. So, like, say for this example, we have -2 to the third power raised to the second power. Well, if we know we have to do inside the parenthesis first, so we have -2 cubed. That means -2 times -2 times -2. Well, inside of here, that will give me a -8. It's not -2 times 3. It's having this base of -2 multiplied by itself 3 times. So once we get that -8, we're going to square it. And then once we square it, we got -8 times -8, which gives me a 64, okay? So once you keep seeing it, you know, x squared to the 5th power, that means 2 times 5, that gives me 10. So it'll be x to the 10th power, all right? Okay, so that's why everything is here. So these are like little flashcards that you can get because you have to really grasp some of these concepts. And some of them are easy and some of them are basically test heavy. So I tried to put it in a way that you can make copies of it. You can, if you want to make them into cards, you can make them into cards. And if you have a laminator, you're probably like, oh, Audrey, you're talking fancy stuff. Please, child, go to Walmart and buy like a $10 laminator from Scott's. I think it's probably like $14 now. But still, it's less than $20. And then you can get the cheap sheets. You don't have to get the sheets from Office. I don't even know if it's the Office Depot anymore. But you don't have to go expensive with the sheets. Okay, you can, it's same thing, go to Walmart, get the Walmart brand like pen and something, and then make your own, okay? All right, so here's another thing that a lot of people struggle with. It is these lovelies, okay? 9 squared, okay? 9 squared, we know is 9 times 9. So I have something like this. So we have our 9 squared, then we have our 9 times 9. And then we're like, okay, well, what's 9 times 9? Well, 9 times 9 is 81, as soon as I pick it up. Okay, 9 times 9 is 81. But then you can also look at it from the reverse perspective. I can say, all right, the square root of 81. What's the square root of 81? Well, I know that if I look at the square root of 81, that's going to give me my original 9. Here it is. So you can play like a matching game with your kids, okay? Or with yourself, okay? Just to really get an understanding of how you can do the squares. So for this is a part of my squares and cubes flash matches. Okay, so this is a thick book, like thicker than a Snicker. Okay, so it basically helps you to match your squares, your roots, your cubes, and your cube roots. So this is not just for people that are trying to get their GED or trying to pass the ASVAB. This could be for kids that are currently in an algebra class, because these are the things, especially these, are the things that I see a lot of in my tutoring classes. We just don't know our multiplication facts. So it's almost like, okay, you can just do simple like, all right, what's 9 times 9? I think it's 81. You're matching with your pinks. Okay, so we can do that. If you want to, you can do your 81. If I wanted to break 81, it'll be the square root of 9 times 2. So that means the square root of 81 is 9. You can do something like that. Okay, so that's what your squares and your square roots. But what happens if you get something like this? Okay, so now we're looking at 2 times 2 times 2. I know that 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 will give me 8. But how can I say, if I wanted to do the breakdown, instead of, I know, I got like 60 million and stuff here. Okay, I could say it this way. All right, I could say 2 times 2 times 2, that's the same as 2 cubed. So now you're introducing that concept of cubes. Then, once you get a little more advanced, we can say, what's the cube root of 8? And you're like, ooh, cube root of 8. So, is that 4? No. So the cube root, if I were to break it down, that's going to be 2. So these are some of the things that you can learn and pull from here. Not only do I do this, I do exponents. I did evaluating, simplifying fractions. I have something that gives you a list of all of the formulas that is actually normally used in GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, or just an Algebra 1 course. I have like all of the resources that I normally use for my notebooks. That's including the Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. I compile them into one book. So I'm taking a look at all of my lives from this past year, and I'm looking at all of my tutoring sessions from this past year, and just really feel like, how can I help people to help them see how great they are, get them past this phase of they can't do math, rebuild their greatness that they can do math, and be able to create it in a way that is affordable for everyone. That is the thing. Thanks, Bossy. I see you too. Okay, that's the thing. Because a lot of people don't really understand, or they need the assistance, but guess what? Things cost money. And you can sit here and say, yes, but I got this for free, I got that for free. And I'm like, yeah, but how's that working out for you? Did you pass the GED? No. Did you pass the ASVAB, like pass a 31 to the level that you want to get that score? No. Okay. So what can we do to raise you up? All right. So all of these lovely items, they are available. Now, I have the digital copy. If you want to just get the digital is a lot cheaper, obviously, than the actual book. But if you want to start here right now, my link is in the bio. But if you want, I'm also selling it here. Notice I don't say the word anymore. Gotta be tricky with TikTok. Okay. You gotta go to the big A. So if anything, thank you so much for sharing the lives, and thank you for your time and attention. Right, Michael? I finally made a card. Okay. I was being very creative the past couple of days. But this is definitely live and available. Okay. Today. All of it. Okay. All of my things. Now, Books By, which is my bookstore, my personal bookstore, it has the first one. And remember, with Books By, it usually takes like a good week for you to get your things. If you're fine with that, go ahead and order from there. But it doesn't have all of my books because Books By has been doing something to me, and I don't know what I did to deserve it. Like all of a sudden it's not uploading all of my books. It just uploads a couple. I have no idea. But I'm going to try to figure out that journey, but I did not want to hold you guys back. So if you want to do it, like have a digital copy of it and you can get started right away and you just print out your own pages, whatever pages that you need, you can go ahead and get that volume 1. The link is currently in the bio. And the cost of that is $12.99. $12.99. Not $1,299. No. $12.99. Okay. So if you want to do that, you can do that. The actual book, especially in Amazon, that is going to be $24.99. Okay. And I know if I do it through my personal bookstore, volume 1 is $19.99. Okay, so I just wanted to give you those prices to be a parent. Okay, and I know it's hard because it's after the holiday. That's what the price is going to be. I'm not going to raise it. I'm not going to lower it. That's what it's going to be because it's a lot of details, but it's all what you really need. Okay, so if you have questions, I know it feels weird because I'm not on my computer as well, so I can see your responses. But I do appreciate you guys coming in, and hopefully you'll find this being something that can be useful to you. Because I know it can be useful to you. And then you can go at your pace. You don't have to worry about getting a tutoring session at the wee hours in the morning. It's just whenever you're ready, you flip open the book, you click on or you scan the QR code, and you just get started. It's kind of giving you that convenience that you need. And on top of it, you're going to get your extra practice problems. And soon, I want to say probably close to the middle or close to the end of this month, I'm going to be releasing not 3, but 6 practice tests that you can use. It's GED and ASVAB heavy, but TEAS tests and current algebra kids can definitely use this. I used a lot of it with a couple of kids that were trying to pass the Regents, and guess what? They did. Now, when I said they passed it. One passed with an 87, the other one passed it with a 91. So if you don't know the Regents, that's a test that they have to take in New York. And usually a lot of schools are basically looking at what New York is doing. So just to give you an idea. Okay, you deserve it. We need the help. Not a problem, John. Thank you so much for saying that. So again, this is, and you're going to see a lot of publication from here on in. And if anything, the cards will definitely come in like this on a regular page. Sometimes I make it all nice and pretty. If anything, especially with the 6 and the 9s, a lot of people say, oh, like, is this, like this one, is this a 6 or is it a 9? Well, it's a 9 because I made sure I put my copyright on the very top of it so you can read it, okay? And then this little emblem is always on the bottom left, okay? And for these cards, especially for the cubes and the squares, I went all the way up to the 16, so 1 through 16. Okay, so you're going to see numbers in the thousands. You're going to see numbers, in the hundreds and the thousands. So it's not your typical 1 through 10 because there's numbers that are more than 10 out there. Same with my multiplying integers. That is a thick like a Snicker book. That's 153 pages. And we all know that, you have to do one page that's blank. So like if you do like 153 divided by 2, so we're looking at roughly like 76 or 77 pages filled with flashcards. And each each page has 4 cards to it. Okay, so this is nothing like, oh, it's a little PDF. No, I tried to make it worth the money. I tried to make it worth your time. If you want to rip it out of the book and make your own cards, have fun with it. If you want to make photocopies of it and distribute it out to like a couple of your kids, maybe you're homeschooling kids, maybe you are going through some kind of attachment with kids in your neighborhood and you want to help them out with their math, do what you got to do. I just want to be part of your journey. Okay, I want to be part of your growth and of your journey because you're worth it. Okay, let's not make math an excuse anymore. We're done. Okay? All right, lovies. So I am very happy. Thank you so much for you guys coming in. Okay, are we having class today? Not this time. I'm probably going to come on a little bit later. I know that's probably why everybody's like, we're still here for class. But I am going to come on a little bit later and do a little bit of class. Maybe probably in the next 20 minutes because I didn't want to stay on here too long. All right. So let me get myself cleaned up and I will come back on in roughly the next 20 minutes, about 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then we can do that. So again, if you are interested, be ready to see more with the algebra at your pace, because now you can do work and don't have to worry about having someone being right there, because I will be right there. All right. Thanks, Big Al. All right. I'm trying to see what you're saying. Oh, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. All right, everyone. So I will see you probably roughly in the next 23 minutes. And we're going to do a little bit more math. All right. Awesome. Mine from the big A. You're going to get yours from the big A? All right. Awesome. All right. Hey, Lynette. Thank you so much. All right. See you guys at 4 o'clock. And we're going to do a little bit more math. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye now.